Okay, welcome to today's lesson in science. Okay, chemistry to be particular. So today we are looking at limiting reactants. What is limiting reactants? A limiting reagent is a reactant that is in short supply by the mole ratio, and hence it finishes before the other reactants are completely reacted. Okay, so that is the definition of limiting reagent. So now, when we are talking about the reactants in a chemical equation like the one that we have here, so the first elements, those that are reacting, are called reactants. So for example, here we have zinc and sulfur. So these two are called reactants. Now the results that you are going to get after these two are successfully reacted, what you are going to get is what is known as product. So this is the product. So when zinc react with the sulfur, the result which will come out is zinc sulfide. Okay, so that is what it means. Now from there, we are saying a limited reagent is found by dividing the number of moles of each reactant by its stoichiometric coefficient in a balanced chemical equation like this one that we have. You are going to see the examples. So let us also talk about this one, which is an access reagent. What is an access reagent? Access reagent is a reactant that remains unreacted at the end of the reaction. So remember, there are some reactant that remains unreacted after the reaction has been taken place. This is known as access, okay? Excess what? Reagent. That is what they are called. So let us quickly go on this particular example that we have and see how best we can answer this question. 19.5 grams of zinc and 9.4 grams of sulfur were heated together. Okay, like this one and this one were heated together. So now the question one, which of the two is limiting reactant? These two, which one is the limiting reactant? Now, how can you tell that this or this one is the limiting reactant? You can only determine that by actually finding the moles of each element. Those elements that we have, those two reactants that we have. So you have to find the number of moles of each. So the one which is going to have smaller number of moles, that will be the limiting what? Reactant. Then the other one which is going to have the bigger between these two, that will be non-limiting what? Reactant. So let us now determine and see between zinc and sulfur, which one is the limiting reactant. So I think we'll start with zinc. So how do we find the number of moles when you are given the element and also the mass? Remember, this is what you have been doing. I taught you on how to find the number of moles in the previous lessons that we had together. Okay, so we are saying the number of moles, of zinc as an element is equals to mass over molar mass. Okay. Then we come to sulfur. I think we are going to do them simultaneously. We come to sulfur. Sulfur also, number of moles of sulfur is equals to mass over molar mass. 2m, that is molar mass. This is the formula. Okay. So now from there, we are going to substitute according to what we have. So for zinc, we have 19.5 grams as the mass. So on top there, we are going to put 19.5 grams over. What is the molar mass of zinc? The molar mass of zinc you need to calculate, because that is what you started with. In fact, we started by finding the molar mass of a given element and compound. Okay, so we did that. So let us find the molar mass of zinc. So you get the periodic table. So when you go on the periodic table there, you are going to see the mass number of this one, zinc. So the mass number of zinc is 65. And now we have only one atom of zinc here. So we are going to multiply 65 times 1. And the answer that you get is 65 grams per mole. That is molar mass. So this one is 65 grams per mole. Okay. Then we come to sulfur also. The mass we are given is there, 9.5 grams or 9.4, not 5, 9.4 grams. Then over the molar mass, the mass number for sulfur on the periodic table is 32. So how many atoms of sulfur do we have here? There is only one. So 1 times 32, the answer is 32 grams per mole. Okay. So now from there, we can do the calculations. Okay. From there, we can do the calculations. Okay, so having done this, remember I'm just doing this simultaneously, but what you are supposed to do is first you find the number of moles for this one, then you come to the number of moles for this one. The reason why you are doing that is because you want to determine the limiting what? Reagent between the two reactants that we have. So here now, when we do now, we use the calculator. Remember science, always calculator is very much welcomed. Okay, 19.5 divided by 65. What is the answer? The answer is 0.3. So 0.3 moles. This is for zinc. So now let us see now for sulfur. Sulfur, we have 9.4 divided by 32. Divided by 32. The answer is what? 0.29 mole. Okay. So now that we have found the number of moles of each element or each reactant that we have this side, we can tell now which one is the limiting reagent between the two. So automatically, according to the condition, sulfur is the limiting reagent. Why? Because sulfur has got the smaller number of moles than zinc. Okay. When you look at this one, 0.3 is bigger than 0.29. So sulfur is our reagent. The limiting reagent, sulfur. Okay. So we go to the next one. Here the answer is sulfur. Sulfur. Okay. That is our answer. Because the question says, which of the two is limiting reactant between these two? Is sulfur. Then we go to question B. How many moles of zinc remain unreacted? So how are you going to find that question? You know what happens when these were heated? They were actually being what? Being transformed. Okay. They were heated now. The reaction were in process. So now, the moment the sulfur finishes, okay, the reaction ended. Right there and then, the reaction ended. Now, when you look at the number of moles, it means sulfur finishes first before zinc. Okay, so this one, that's why it is called the limiting reactant, because it is the one which is limiting the reaction. The moment it finishes, it will stop right there and then. Okay, so this is what is happening here. So now for us to know the number, according to the question, how many moles of zinc remain unreacted? How many were there? So it means we need to subtract now this from the number of moles for sulfur from the number of moles for zinc. That is when now we are going to know the number of moles that remained and reacted. So we are going to say 0.3. This is B. Let me write it here. 0.3 minus 0.29. What is the answer? 0.3 minus 0.29. The answer is 0.01 more. So 0.1 more of zinc remained unreacted. So this number of moles were not reacted. Why? Because sulfur finished. Okay. And it ended. The reaction ended. Okay. So that is how we actually determine the limiting reagent, limiting reactant, when you are given the chemical equation like the one that we have. Thank you so very much for your attention.